Hello everyone, welcome to another Pars tutorial video. Today we are focusing on ruler number 55, the elliptics. So the first pattern that we're going to do with this is the sort of coverall pattern. So we're going to start with the foot down and the needle down and follow the full length of the channel. Just make sure that you snuggle nicely into the corners to give you that nice crisp shape that we're after. So as we go along, you'll see that we are going to do this pattern in one thread. So we don't have to keep stopping and starting. We can just move the ruler and reposition it. So that's what I've done here. I've moved the ruler and we're just going to do the full section again. And we're just going to use for a point of reference that the corner of what we've just sewn is in the centre of the channel. So the pattern all matches up nicely. Okay, so this pattern, I'm just going to show you a small snippet of it. You can extend this by going longer length, doing it at really long lines, I guess if you wanted a border like this, or you can do lines of it to make like a square coverall pattern. So we've just done the same thing again, slid the ruler along and just doing another whole section and making sure that the two lines join up. Okay, so this is going to be the last bit of the length. I'm just going to keep it at 3 sections just to show you what to do. So what we're going to do here is just the same as before. Slide the ruler over, and then this time we're just going to do that first section. So we've put the sewing in the centre of the channel to match up our point, but then when we get to that first length we're going to stop, and that's going to make the end point of the panel. So what we're going to do now is continue to build on this pattern. So we've got a nice scroll line there where we can put on our previous sewing, and we're just going to sew the top arch on all 3 sections. So stop with the needle down, slide the ruler, line it up so that the end point is where you want it, which is lines up with your previous sewing. And you can use that scroll line every time so you get the nice consistent pattern that we're after. So like I said before, we're building up this pattern section by section, and then you can see the overall result at the end. So what we're going to do now is you're just going to do the little end section. So it's just the one length from the bottom to the top in that little bit of channel. Okay, so now we're going to go back across the other side doing the exact same thing. So we've got to do the top arch and the bottom arch on this. So we're going to do all the top arches first. Again, you've got your reference points from your previous sewing that you've done, so you need to end where the other sewing matches up. So you've got a nice end point visible there, and then once we've done all the top arches we can use the scroll lines for the bottom arches so it all lines up nicely. So once I've done this, I'm going to stop with the needle down at the end. We're going to slide the ruler. We're going to use the same channel, the same bit of the channel, just going the other way. We've put the scroll line on top of what we've just sewn, and then we are just going to go from one side to the other, again just making sure our end point is where we want it, that it matches up with all the other previous points of the sewing. Same thing again all the way across, and then this will just be to show you what you can do with this ruler. So like I said, this is just 3 blocks that I put together, but you could continue on. You could put another 3 blocks underneath, or keep going and going and going for a nice coverall pattern for however the size of the material the project is that you're doing. So it can really fit to whatever design that you like. Okay, so I'll just take that off and show you the finished design. Just cut those loose threads, just get them out of the way, and there you go. Very quick, simple and easy. That's the elliptic ruler. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you a completely different type of pattern that's still being created with the same ruler. So what we are going to do is we are going to use just one section of the ruler to start with, which is that top section there that I'm using. So we're going to just use that section and we're going to build it over and over again to make a really large circle. And again, we're going to make sure that the circle is symmetrical, just how we want it by using the scroll lines. So you can see there I've put the scroll line on, and then we're going to continue the circle just using that same bit. And we can just keep doing that using the scroll line with what you've just done. Okay, I'm highlighting it there. I've put that on top of the sewing, and we're just going to keep going round. And this will make a really large circle for you. So that opens up loads of options for different. You could put a centerpiece in the middle of that. You could do lots of large circles to make a big bubble effect if you've got a really large project. Lots of possibilities with a circle. And this is quite a large circle and like very easy to do. All in one thread. You don't have to break the thread and reposition and everything. You just keep repositioning the ruler. Okay, so I've just got a couple more bits to do, and then what I'm going to do is, again using the same ruler, is to put a floral centerpiece in the middle of this circle, and I will show you how to do that very shortly. I'm going to use the other section. In fact, I'm going to use all three sections of the ruler to do the petals of the flower. Okay, so there's your large circle. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is pick a centre point. So we're going to need a centre point in this circle that we are going to keep coming back to. So you can just do a visual centre point like I'm doing here, or if you did want to put a little mark on the material, that's totally your choice. So what I'm going to do here is use the two side sections to just build up petal shapes. So can you see there? I'm going to do a top petal and a bottom petal. Okay, you can just slide the ruler around, but just make sure that you're always returning to that centre point. Okay, and we can keep building and building. Again, this is personal preference. You can make the petals wider, you can make them thinner. That's down to your choice and what you want to do. But I'm just showing you the basics here, and then you can build on that yourself and make your own designs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the 4 points of the compass with petals. And then I'm going to go and fill in between those gaps another 4, and then the end bit will just be to put on an extra little bit of design, extra bit of detail, just to bring it to life. So again, I'm doing this all in one thread. I am doing it in one thread colour, but if you wanted to mix that up to make the petals different colours to give it that bit more of a visual interest, totally your choice. So I'm using the top section again here. You can make slightly wider petals with this one if you wish, or just keep them the same length. So you can use all 3 sections just to build up the petals. Okay, so the key to it is just returning back to that centre point, so you've got access to the next section that you're wanting to do. And again, you'll see that this is something that's not taking me long to do at all. So it's very quick and easy, but it gives a really good impact on your quilts. And you can design this however you like. Okay, so I think I've got a couple more to do, and then I can show you the final result. So even though this ruler does not look like it could make floral patterns, that's what I do love about these rulers. You can have like your base pattern that's sort of obvious, but then you can go on and make things that you wouldn't necessarily think of to start with, and you can just keep using them for the same things or different things. Okay, so this is going to be the last one, and then like I said, I'm going to just put on an extra bit of detail just to bring it to life, and all I'm going to do there is just put so I'm going to use whichever section that you like just to put on a bit of detail. So it's just a case. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still finishing the petal there. But what I will do is put some little details in the middle of the flowers. Okay, so I think that must be the last petal that I'm doing now, and then I will go on. Like I said, I'm just going to use the curve about halfway up. Again, no defined rules, however you like, just to give a little bit of extra. Okay, so you can see I'm holding the ruler there. Just a gentle touch is needed on the ruler. Okay, backwards and forwards. Again, coming back to that centre point. Everything returns to that point. And that's how you can do it all in one thread, because you keep returning to that centre point. Okay, so I can take the ruler off, and you can see there lovely large circle and floral design with our elliptic rulers. So that is ruler number 54. Enjoy.